$100 a week. Every member has different situations and different hourly wages. So what I'm obligated to do is to show you what setting aside your 1 hour will do and what kind of protection that's going to provide for you and your family.
Okay.
Then when I'm done, the FOP just wants to know how I did and have your opinion on this report card that's going to go back to them, okay? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, Jordan, what do you make an hour?
I make 15.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what setting aside $15 a week is going to do for you and your family, okay? Okay. Just like in any enrollment period, provided that you can qualify, there are forms that need to be filled out here in person while I'm here, and we can't do that over the phone or later, okay?
Okay.
So just be sure to stop me if you have any questions. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, Jordan, they're concerned with three major areas: accidental injuries, final expenses, and paycheck protection. So the first area they're concerned with is when you're injured in any type of accident. Have you ever thought of what you'll do when you get injured in an accident?
No.
Well, the Labor Advisory Board, basically, and American Income gave it a lot of thought. Their concern is not that your medical bills aren't going to be paid. That's what your health insurance is for. Their concern is you're not going to be making your hourly. When it's work related, you got workers' comp, or some employers got disability. So they're basically concerned with lost wages and other expenses that start adding up. Now, Jordan, when you end up in the hospital, even though your medical bills are taken care of, no one pays you to be there. God forbid anything happens to your kids. In that case, nobody's going to work, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Jordan, when you or any of your kids get hurt and have to go to the emergency room, they're going to send you up to $100 just for taking the time to get the injury looked up. And that's for any type of accident, whether you scrape your knee, need stitches, on or off the job. So the money comes to you here at home. The only exception is when you have to stay overnight in the hospital. They are going to send you $200 a day for up to 7 days. So it adds up to the 52 weeks.
Okay.
So that basically ends up being $700 a week for 52 weeks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, when the money comes in, is that going to help out your family?
Yeah.
Of course it will. Now, the only exception to that is when you have to stay in intensive care. They are going to send you $300 a day for up to 2 weeks. If you're there in longer than 2 weeks, it goes back to the 700 a week. The reason it's to 300, it's because when you're in ICU, it's a life or death situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the second area they're concerned with is your final expenses. Now, Jordan, who's going to be responsible for taking care of your funeral and final expenses when something happens?
Jasmine.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, have you ever you never had to plan a funeral, right?
No.
The reason I ask is because it's a very serious problem. Now, their concern is not the fact that you're going to die, because we all are. Their concern is when we die in our family, someone in our family has to face the funeral director immediately. Funeral directors, these days, they require all or a bulk of their money up front, on the spot, before they start doing anything, or they at least want to know where the money's going to come from.
Okay.
So, did you realize that?
No, I didn't realize.
Okay. So, a lot of people don't. So, while your family is waiting for the life insurance to come in, who has to take care of things in the meantime? Well, that's right, your family.
Yeah.
The kids. They either have to take the money out of savings if they have it, or worse, borrow it if they don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now what they've done is they've set up the Freedom of Choice certificate to take care of your final expenses. If you qualify, each of you are going to receive your certificate, or you're going to receive your certificate. It's called the Freedom of Choice because it's good at any funeral. So the way it works is when something happens to you, Justin is just gonna take this certificate to any funeral director. You choose, and when the funeral director looks at her and says, looks at him and says, "Hey, Justin, I'm sorry for your loss. The funeral is gonna be $10,000. How do you want to take care of that today?" Basically, Justin would just say, "No worries. Jordan had the freedom of choice. Everything is taken care of from that point on." Now, Jordan, in your case, they basically set aside $15,000 to take care of your funeral expenses and your final expenses. What's not used up at the funeral home is going to get sent straight to the beneficiary, which is Justin. Now, let me ask you, Jordan, isn't it nice to finally have this taken care of for you and your family?
Yeah.
Cool. So, each of the kids are covered for a $10,000 benefit that can be converted to $50,000 at age 21, regardless of their health or habits, that they can actually keep for the rest of their life. Pretty nice, huh?
Yeah.
Now, the only exception to this is when you die before the age of 65, it's most likely gonna be an accident, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when something happens to you in an accident, Jordan, not only are they gonna take care of your final expenses, but they're also gonna send an additional $50,000 to help out during that time. When we die in an accident, what kind of accident do you think it'll probably be?
Car
That's
accident.
right, car accident.
Yeah.
So in that case, they're gonna send you an additional $100,000 plus take care of the final expenses. Okay.
Okay.
Now they also have, when you're traveling in a common carrier like a bus or a plane or a train, they're gonna send an additional $350,000 to the family.
Cool.
Now, each of your children are covered for 20% of whatever you're covered. So, for the same accidental death benefit, okay?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, the third problem they're concerned with is your paycheck. Now, Jordan, you're on your way home from work and you get killed in a car accident, or you pass away from a stroke or heart attack. And is your paycheck still going to keep coming in to support the kids and the family?
Yeah.
Of course not. Your paycheck is going to vanish as soon as you die. Okay? So, but taking care of the family stays there. Okay?
Okay.
So, those are pretty much going to stay the same when you die. So, Justin, the bills keep coming in month after month for you. And your paycheck, Jordan, is completely gone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, Jordan. You have life insurance, you told me, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So the FOP actually realized that all members have life insurance. But here's what happens in a typical situation. When you die, your family is immediately has to start dipping into those lump sums. First for reimbursement of your funeral and your burial. And then because your paycheck's not coming in anymore. So they have to keep dipping into the savings to pay their bills and put food on the table. And then a year or two later, what happens to all that money? It basically vanishes. Now, Jordan, here's the paycheck protection or readjustment income.
Okay.
Jordan, when something happens to you, they're gonna send Justin a paycheck the very next month and every single month after that for a minimum of a full year. So the reason they chose a year is because Justin needs a decent time to adjust. A couple of months is just not gonna do. Okay. Does this all make sense to you?
Yeah.
Perfect. So what they're gonna do in your case, Jordan, is when you die, they're gonna send Justin $2,000 every single month for up to 3 years for any cause of death. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I'm sure Justin will be in a position that when that does happen, he can take the money and he can invest it for the future.
Okay.
Like education or retirement. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. Now, this does build up an emergency fund after 3 years, if things ever get a little tight financially, there will be some money in there that you can take, and it can help take care of your program, so you can keep it and you won't have to lose it. Now, there's also paid up benefits. So when you retire, you can still contribute, or you stop contributing to your program, and you keep a reduced paid up final expense benefit for the rest of your life. Pretty nice, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, have you ever thought about what you'll do when you're diagnosed with a terminal illness?
No.
Well, they put a lot of thought into it. In fact, they realize that you're going to need a lot of cash. So when you're diagnosed with a terminal illness and not expected to live longer than 12 months, they're going to send you half of your final expense and paycheck protection. The other half is going to go to your beneficiary and your family once you pass, okay?
Okay.
Now, there's a strike and layoff waiver, so you can't lose your program. In fact, in case of a union strike, they will take care of your insurance benefits for up to a full year, okay?
Okay.
You never have to pay it back. Pretty nice, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, Jordan, even if you can't work for 1 day because of a strike, they will take care of your benefits not only for a week, which is $15, but for the whole month, which is $80.
Cool.
So as long as you've been working for the past 2 months, they are going to take care of the program for 3 months, and you never have to pay it back, and that's for the layoff waiver, okay?
Okay.
Now, also, the insurance benefits are guaranteed and non-cancelable, which basically means if you qualify today, no matter what happens in the future to your health, age, or habits, no one can kick you out, or no one can ever take this away from you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Jordan, I've showed you what setting aside 1 hour will do for your family.
Right.
Let's review it just to make sure it's clear for you, okay?
Okay.
So your accidental injury benefits are there for you and your family. When your freedom of choice certificate covers you and the children for any kind of death, and is there until it needs to be used, okay?
Okay.
Your paycheck protection is and all of your protections on the side are there to make sure that no matter what happens moving forward, you never have to lose your benefits after today.
Cool.
Even if you change jobs, get very sick, or move. Again, now Jordan, do you see why these are so important for you and your family?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, my job, because of what your brother Mark did for you, is just to give you an opportunity to get enrolled in what you qualify for, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, the best part is they set this up like a payroll deduction, but they do it once a month through your own checking account, so it's under your control, and that way when you change jobs or retire, you never have to worry about losing the insurance benefits because, again, they're under your control, not your employers or the unions. Pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
Now, Jordan, let's face it, we're all gonna die.
Right.
We don't have a choice. Either we deal with this now, or someone in our immediate family will. Like our brother, sister, or child will have to deal with this when something happens. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, Jordan, you are going to have to answer some medical questions to see if you can even qualify.
Okay.
But probably the most important question I have for you is when something happens to you, say in a bad car wreck, there will be over 500,000 of coverage, okay?
Okay.
Who do you want that money to go to?
Jasmine.
Okay. Now, it doesn't make a difference to them which program you try to qualify for. Most of my members try to qualify for 1 hours combined, which is $40 a week.
Right.
Some family members ask if they can do more and set aside more and double, which is $80 a week. Or sometimes members want to reduce and choose a more basic program just to reduce, knowing that they will upgrade down the road, provided that they actually still qualify.
Okay.
Now, which way do you want to go? Actually, while you're thinking about it, let me go ahead and ask you these medical questions to make sure that you qualify, okay?
Okay.
And that's the video, and he was right here, but for some reason they don't like to be shown. Thanks, Randy.